Hi everyone, I'm Veer Mahajan and this is my World War III simulator. So the countries that are going to be fighting are the top 10 countries by population. All of these countries are going to be fighting, and as you can see, I've increased all of their borders. I've given them all some extra territory. So Bangladesh has gotten some in Myanmar, India has gotten Sri Lanka, Bhutan and Nepal. Pakistan has gotten a small bit of Kashmir over there, which is just OT. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I think that's just disputed. And they've gotten some more in Afghanistan. Russia has gained a bit in North Korea. China has also gained in North Korea and Mongolia. That's it for China and Taiwan, of course. Russia has gotten some of North Korea. They've gotten a lot of Central Asia, like most of the stans minus Afghanistan and Pakistan. I think all of them except for those two. Then they've gotten the Caucasus states, the Baltic states, Ukraine and Moldova, along with Belarus. And I think that's all that Russia has. America has gotten um the Yukon in Canada, and they've gotten some more stuff in northeastern Canada, actually just eastern Canada. Mexico has gotten some in Central America. Brazil has gotten some in Uruguay, Paraguay, all of those two countries, and then some more over here. And Nigeria has just gained all around itself. And Indonesia has gained Papua New Guinea and Malaysia, along with the microstates, Timor Leste and Brunei. So I think that's all the countries over here. But basically, this is how it's going to work. This is a program that I've created. You can just pause it and read that if you want. But each country, based on their population, they get a starting score. Then that's multiplied, I think, by the growth rate that they have, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. And then that's multiplied by other bonuses which I give, and that's just explained a bit more in this paragraph. Um, like since America's invest so much in its military, I've given it a huge boost. And of course, America is the world's strongest military power, and Russia is also a very strong one. I just wanted to make it more interesting by giving other countries a chance as well, because otherwise they probably won't have much of an opportunity. Like Bangladesh won't do too well. Even Indonesia, which is the fourth most populated country, probably won't do too well. It would just be Russia, China, America, and maybe India. So I've just given the other countries a lot of power as well, just to make it more interesting. Um, so anyway, these are the scores for the countries, and then that changes every 4 events. A random nation will receive bonus soldiers, and every 5 turns we'll have an update of this. So let's begin. Indonesia begins by attacking Bangladesh. Both of them don't lose any soldiers. These army points, just imagine those as units. I should probably change that, but I'll just keep it like this for now. Indonesia won the war, losing 0 units. Bangladesh lost the war, losing 0 units. So neither of them really lost anything. And now Mexico declares war on Russia. Russia wins, they lose 1 army point. Mexico loses 2. But since Russia and Mexico are pretty far apart, they actually aren't that far apart. If you go from here, um, they can go around from here and try to attack Mexico there, but they don't see any point in doing that because America is right there, and Brazil declares war on Mexico. And again, neither of them lose anything, and neither of them decides to take any territory from the other, because it'll be very hard to manage and it'll be hard to even get the territory. Now America gets some extra soldiers. These are the scores. Nothing much has changed. Nigeria went to war with Indonesia. Both of them again lost nothing. So this has been a very quiet round. Like barely anything has been lost. I think a total of like 7 people have been lost, 7 units. But now things will change. So Indonesia has a civil war where Indonesia loses 3 points, and Indonesia now goes to war with India. India loses just 1 unit, but Indonesia loses 6, and as a result, India decides they're pretty close by. No one really borders Indonesia, and India is probably the closest. They can go from the Andaman and Nicobar Islands over here, and that makes them very close to Indonesia. They can also go from Sri Lanka, which they own, and all of the eastern coast of India. So they decide they're going to go and try to take some land over there, because they won and they did so well. They sent in a lot of units, and they managed to get a few territories there. So now they've got a pretty strong presence over here in the northwestern Indonesian territory. Then they managed to take over quite a bit because they had such a good victory. And now India goes to war with America. Of course, in real life, America would probably win, but over here, because I've changed things a bit and changed the scores, India ends up winning. They lose nothing, and America loses 2 points. And India, of course, doesn't have to invade America and take over any of its states. Uh, Nigeria receives some army points though. Now Russia declares war on India, and Russia loses badly. India loses 3 points, but Russia loses seven. And now Russia goes to war with Mexico. Both of them lose. Russia loses one, Mexico loses two. These are the scores now. China's at 311. India's pretty close behind, 302. America's doing pretty well, 191. Then Russia, Pakistan, Nigeria, Brazil, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and then Mexico. Now India declares war on Indonesia again. They lose one army point, and Indonesia loses six. Since they've already invaded Indonesia, they just continue their invasion from there. So let me just finish this off now. Not finish this off, but they decide to attack this territory. So they invade Riau, then they take Sumatra Barat, Jambi, Bengkulu, Sumatra Selatan, and they also take Bangka Belitung and Lampang. So now they've got all of that entire island with all the things around it, and now they're very close to Jakarta, which is going to be very important for Indonesia to defend. And they just fortify over here and prepare. In the next attack that they have against Indonesia, if they win, they'll be able to roll through and take Jakarta, and basically then just win all of Indonesia, because that's where most of their government is at the moment in this scenario. Okay, so now India, it's already looking very strong. So let's see what happens next. China goes to war with Indonesia. Indonesia loses five. China loses nothing. But because India's already got, China isn't that close to Indonesia. The only place where they can even try to attack is there. But India has got a very strong presence there already. Indonesia and India will together probably be able to fight off China. And if China puts too much military there, then they're susceptible to attacks from Pakistan and Russia, along with India, of course. So they decide they aren't going to do anything, but they're just going to win that battle. And now Nigeria gets some extra army points. And now Nigeria decides that they're strong enough to declare war on Pakistan. And somehow they end up winning the war, but neither of them lose much. But it's a win for Nigeria overall. And now China declares war on Bangladesh. They win, they lose two army points, but Bangladesh loses eight. However, they aren't able to take any territory from Bangladesh because India is literally right there. Like, they completely encompass Bangladesh. Um, and they aren't going to be able to just go through these neutral territories without consequences. If those nations see Chinese troops going through, they might also get involved, and then they'll probably join India or something, or anyone against China, because they won't want Chinese troops just going through their territory uh, without their permission. So China doesn't do anything about that. Now India declares war on Russia. India loses 2 points. Russia loses seven, and this time India decides that they're doing pretty well, and they send a huge naval expedition from this part of Malaysia. They go all the way through, and they manage to direct completely safely. Like, they cross the Chinese Navy. They managed to do so successfully, going through the Philippines, which is pretty risky, but they come around and they manage to launch an invasion into Russia, and they uh, somehow they get very lucky. They manage to take Kamchatka, and they take the uh, Chukchi Autonomous Okrug, which now puts them very close to Alaska. So now they can attack America and actually try to, if they win well enough, they might be able to take Alaska and Yukon, which is obviously part of Canada, but America is annexed out in this scenario, so it's technically part of America. And they're still losing to China, but that's only because they've already taken over so much land. Nigeria now goes to war with India. They do horribly. They lose five army points. India doesn't lose anything. And India decides that they're going to uh, just go. They go through. They just go all the way around Africa. They don't go through here because that's like roughly the same distance, probably. Actually, probably a lot more. Like, it'll take a lot more time to go through that. So they decide they'll just come from here, and they land in Nigeria. Since it took so long for them to come, they aren't able to do much, and all they end up doing is taking Sud in Cameroon. I'm pretty sure that actually means south. I was just looking at hovering on these. This is center. This is est. That's something else. That's north, and that's extreme north. So that's probably like north, south, east, center, uh, littoral. That's probably west, northwest, and yeah. I was just looking at the names. So I'm pretty sure that means south, but that's not too relevant anyway. So let's just go on. Yeah, so they take that part. They took Sud, in Cameroon, and uh, now that they've got that, Russia declares war on Pakistan. Russia is a bit weaker than Pakistan, and but both of them, Pakistan technically wins, but both of them lose one army point, so it doesn't really do much. And now China goes to war with India. Both of them lose 4 points, but China decides that they're going to make an advance. I know that Bhutan and Nepal are both very mountainous, but Chinese troops decide to uh, go through anyway. It's a very big risk, and I'm not even sure if I'm pretty sure like most of China's population lives here, and I think like only like 5 or at most 10% lives in this region, like in these states or provinces. So they don't have many soldiers, but they take Gasa and Bhutan. Then they go to Thimphu, and they try to just go all the way to India. They take Paro, Ha, and they then go and take Sikkim in India. They'll put troops over there. India retaliates. They barely lost the war. Like, they both lost the same amount of soldiers, so it doesn't really matter. But while Chinese forces came there, they lost a lot of people along the way in the mountains. So China is able to get back. India gets back Sikkim. They take Ha, Paro, Thimphu, and Gasa, and in a huge invasion, they managed to completely take that part of China, that entire state. And I know it looks really big, but it probably has like way less people than all the people who live here. Like just in this eastern part of India, there are probably more people than all of Western China because a lot of people live in India. It's very densely populated compared to Western China. So they managed to take the entire province of that. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So India has already invaded China. This is the first actual invasion into Chinese soil, and China gets upset. And the next thing that happens is India now declaring war on Brazil. They lose 1 point. Brazil loses 6 points. But and from here, this is a very important strategic thing. From here, now they can easily enough, not easily, but they manage to get to Brazil. They take Rio Grande do Norte, and they take Paraiba, and they also take, while they're at it, Pernambuco. So that's three pretty big provinces slash states of Brazil. Um and that's because it was a pretty big win for them. One, they lost one unit, Brazil lost six. Now these are the scores. Indonesia gets a bit. China goes to war with India again. Both of them lose five. This time China doesn't bother invading. India doesn't do anything either, so that's fine. And now Indonesia goes to war with Brazil. Both of them lose two. Nigeria goes to war with Brazil. Both of them lose two. Nothing much is happening here, so I'm just going to go a bit faster. Mexico goes to war with Indonesia. Both of Indonesia wins. Both of them lose one. And now Pakistan gets some extra military points. And now America declares war on Mexico. They lose nothing, but Mexico loses 3 army points. And America decides that they're going to unite the Californias. And from California, wait a second, let me just zoom in a bit. They begin taking Baja California, and they go all the way here to California Sur. So they go all the way down there. Now they've got easy naval attacks into here, into like Sinaloa and Sonora, and now they can of course just go in from here. So Mexico is looking pretty weak, and if you look at the points, I'm pretty sure it's got a very low amount of points. It's 18. It's coming last over there. And now Russia goes to war with India. Russia loses 7 army points. India loses just two. And now India decides that this is time. The war, of course, goes on over here. And they didn't have many soldiers in the first place, but there are not that many people who live here either. I think Vladivostok is a pretty big city there, but it might be there actually. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's not in either of these places. And so the Indian soldiers, not the American ones. Let me just fix the color. That one. The Indian soldiers, they come and take Sakha Yakuta and Magadan, and while they're at it, they also just go. No, they're not going to take that. Instead, they take Amur, which is important strategically because now they split up Russia into this big eastern thing and all of the rest of it. And now they have another border, yet another border with China, with Heilongjiang, this province. I think it's a province and might be a state. I'm pretty sure it's a province. So now they have a border with that as well. And China is getting pretty surrounded by enemies. Russia is there, India is there, Russia is there, India is there, Pakistan is there, and all these neutral countries are over here. And China has already lost one province there, so they might be getting a bit worried. but they still have a lot of soldiers, so it's not bad. It's not that bad for them. Russia now, after losing a lot of territory and being split up, there's a civil war. They lose two people. Like, yeah, they lose a lot of people. Indonesia and America go to war. America doesn't take anything of any parts of Indonesia because they're busy defending Alaska from India. Pakistan gets even more points, and now Indonesia goes to war with India. In America, sorry, India loses one army point. Indonesia loses six, and that's just devastating because I said that after one more win they'll be able to take over Jakarta. They'll take over Jakarta, and all of these other places in this island just surrender. Bali is also taken. Nusa Tenggara Barat is taken. Nusa Tenggara Timor is taken. They leave Timor Leste, like East Timor, and now there's just this big one that might be called Borneo, but I might be wrong. So just don't believe me if you're unsure. So now they've taken most of Indonesia, not most of Indonesia, but a big chunk of Indonesia. There's still a few islands left, but it's looking pretty bad for Indonesia. They've lost Jakarta, which is one of the biggest cities in the world. In one way, I think if you look at it in terms of the metropolitan area population, it's like, just second to Tokyo, which makes it like really high population, like over 20 million, I think, like maybe like 30 million. But anyway, that's what happens there. Now, Brazil and America go to war, and America they decide not to do anything to Brazil again because there's some threats here, and they want to just take over Mexico. Then they can go through Brazil from here, take over Central America, and then go to Brazil, or even like just naval attacks from here. They don't want to waste too many soldiers. And by the way, they also have Cuba and the Bahamas here. I forgot to mention that, so they can also attack Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula from there. Anyway, these are now the standings. Russia is down to just five. Oh, and the reason for that, by the way, that it's losing soldiers so fast. When I subtract points, like when it loses points over here, I remove that from the population thing. And since Russia is getting so many multipliers, its population is low. So when you multiply when you subtract the population, like when you decrease the population, since it was initially being multiplied by such a large number, the amount that is subtracted is whatever you're subtracting, like whatever this number is, times all the other bonuses, which costs for Russia. Like when they gain a lot. When they lose a lot. That's why Russia is down to five, and Russia is on the brink of collapse. So is Mexico and Bangladesh, and so is Indonesia actually. And by the way, when some countries begin to collapse, when a few countries have collapsed, I'm just going to like end the video around there. I'm not going to go until just there's one country left. That's going to take very long. So let's just go on now. Nigeria and Mexico go to war. Nigeria wins, but both of them lose a soldier. And now America and India go to war. India loses seven, and the United States loses nine. So it was very costly for both sides. But the Pakistan has received extra military points a lot. They got it last time, and I think the time before last as well, which is like a 1 in 1,000 chance, which is pretty interesting. So anyway, let's go back. And Pakistan, I don't think they've attacked anyone yet. I don't think they've even been attacked. So Pakistan has just been growing their military. But anyway, India attacks America over here. Some tense fighting going on over there. Both of them lose a lot of people in the cold because, like, in India, there's not a lot of snow. It's not as cold as where they've gone. Like, they've gone all the way up there to the top of the world. So it's very cold over there, of course. And India loses quite a few soldiers, and so America loses even more. So no one really makes much progress. Now America has a mini civil war. Of course, not as bad as its actual like civil war, but it's like a mini just infighting, and lots of militaries diverted for that. Now they go to war with Mexico again. They lose two soldiers. Mexico loses four, uh, and they decide they're just going to like go through. Because of that victory, they managed to invade successfully Sonora, and they also take Chihuahua. So now they've gotten quite a few territories over here, and soon once they get like maybe a bit more of central Mexico there, they can actually just finish off Mexico by taking the Yucatan Peninsula and and the rest of that, and then they'll be very strong. So let's go on now. United States. Wait a second. Let me just. Oh, the program has stopped. and well, the program just stopped. You can see that this has happened. So I'm going to try it. Yeah, it's not working anymore. And to restart, all of this stuff has already been saved here. So I'm just going to end the video here now.